I was starting that run off like 10 seconds behind for some odd reason. Hello, Junkyard Dave. Thank you for the good luck.
I honor the skill and courage you have displayed by crossing the territory of the beasts.
That's not supposed to play there.
Hold on.
What the hell? That is a sound clip from a later cutscene. That is very weird. Nice meme, dude. So Slop, what were you streaming? Okay, so that was janky, but it was a little faster than I usually end up doing it. Pit of 100 Trials, huh? How is that in that game? I've seen Pit of 100 Trials runs at 8,000 Leave it to me.
Oh boy.
Oh god, I just realized that I forgot to disable cursor on there. So yeah, my cursor's been on the screen this entire time. I'll move it when I get a chance.
Leave it to me.
Truly a cursed run.
Leave it to me.
If I had to air my grievances with the 80% easy difficulty category of this game, I really don't see all the combat in action until we get to the boss of the underground ruins about 20 plus minutes into the run. That was the best fight of this guy I think I've ever had. It comes down to luck on whether or not he gives me an attack. But yeah, that was really good.
Hold on.
Note to self, don't stream this game from XSplit because apparently it was eating up my memory and causing the game to lag, because I should not be saving this much time. So naive. I think part of why this game's music is so catchy was a lot of it comes from remixes of the SNES version of this game, because this is sort of an enhanced remake of a SNES era game. And so it's just kind of arrangements of songs from that era. And if you ask me, games from that era have some really good soundtracks. Like, I think what made game soundtracks so good back in the day was they had so little to work with that in order to make a soundtrack good, they had to focus on the absolute bare minimum, like a good catchy melody and like a beat that really fits the pace of the game. Because one of the issues I've had with more modern game soundtracks is the fact that they go full like symphony orchestra because they have so much available. But they end up like they end up feeling powerful but not memorable. You don't have like a hook that sticks to you. You just have like bum 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 bum. Real quick question, chat. What are some of your favorite game soundtracks ever? I love talking about game music. And I'm just running through the motions here, so it's kind of boring. Like... Temple of a Frog GBA. I've never known the Game Boy Advance to be a particularly good platform for soundtracks. So, that's interesting. Shantae, I mean, you have birds, so... Oh, dude, I love the Xenoblade 2 soundtrack.
Beat this thing?
Punch me. Punch me. Punch me, you son of a... So they have to die specifically in water for this to work, by the way.
My turn.
Oh, wow. That's unfortunate.
Leave it to me.
Yeah, Super Mario RPG soundtrack is really good. The thing with Super Mario RPG for me is it has a very weird sound font. And it lends itself well to the quirky nature of the game. There's not like a whole lot of songs that really stand out to me outside of the game. I'd pick a couple of standout favorites. The battle against Smithy minions, like Bow Year, that song's really good. The song again, the song that's... The song that plays in Barrel Volcano, that one is absolute banger. And the song that plays when you fight Smithy, the first phase. The second phase is really good, but while it has like this really good pace to it, it doesn't quite sound like a final boss theme. It sounds like a escape kind of theme. But like, Smithy Part 1 is one of just the greatest songs on the SNES. I assume you're talking the Batman game that you run, the one by Sunsoft for that. I adore that soundtrack. That level 1 theme is really, really
Leave it
good.
to me.
Just one of the best level 1 themes out there.
Leave it to me.
Like, that is the kind of level 1 theme that can get somebody to speedrun a game for pretty lengthy periods, because you really want your first level to have really good
Leave it to
music
me.
if you're going to be speedrunning a platformer that short, because you're going to be playing that level a lot. Ys and Persona. I wouldn't say Ys by itself. I would extend that as far as Falcom games go. Like, my favorite songs by Falcom are actually, for the most part, in the Kiseki or Trails series. Like, Silver Will from Trails in the Sky is just one of the greatest video game songs I've ever heard. I think what really makes me such a sucker for Falcom's soundtracks, not as much in this game. There's some songs in this game that I think really stand out because of this particular factor. But like, what makes Falcom songs like stand out for me is a lot of the really good ones have violin. They have like really just enjoyable violin parts. You know, it's also funny too, Dave, that you say Mega Man, because Mega Man's like changed composers every game for a long time. It's amazing that they were able to have that much quality for that long of a period.
Hold on. Are you ready?
So there's actually a good amount of AI manipulation here. That was insane.
Leave it to me.
Leave it to me.
That was a really good fight. So a lot of that fight depends on AI manipulation. You want to keep them in the center of your tornado for as long as possible, so you maximize the residual damage from that, as well as the damage you get from spamming homing knives. Which, one of the neat little things about this game is whenever you use a skill, you gain armor frames, which means that your character can't be staggered while they're in an attack animation, and they take reduced damage. So I can just stand in the center spamming skills. Kind of get away with this on higher difficulties, but you take so much more damage that you can't really do it on anything higher than easy. Easy's kind of its own little beast. I like to run this game on hard, but right now Zelda is only 12 seconds behind me, so I need to make a statement with this game at this point. I had to be careful there. If I end up severing the leftmost suspended cocoon there, it wastes time.
Leave it to me.
Alright. Give me the flip attack. There we go.
Leave it to me.
I wasn't sure I was gonna get that. Hey, no, I don't split there, I keep forgetting.
Leave it to me.
Dude, I love Sonic soundtracks. Sonic Adventure 1, in my opinion, is a top 5 all-time video game soundtrack. Yeah, so that skip right there is quintessential to this category. Between the fact that it allows me to skip having to do the rest of this dungeon, it enables some huge skips later, and I'll explain those if I get to that part of the run. But essentially, leaving a boss alive and being able to freely exit it breaks this game. Okay, I need to be careful with this menu here. Alright, so now we need to be careful here. This part can go wrong very easily. There we go. So this is about the only time in the run where we actually use sort of rendered space that is out of bounds. There's not very much of it. Usually it just extends vertically all the way to a kill plane. I was supposed to split there, but I'm just gonna skip it. Does lobster work for crab? What is with you and lobsters, dude? That is a good ass emote, I just want to say. Also, Karna's not supposed to be here, so she sleeps outside. Just a little note on the cutscene there. About a minute and a half of just basic story stuff. There's a whole lot of talking to people and figuring information out. Oops. Forgot I had her in the party. So here's where we're getting our fourth party member. This Vi boss? Okay. These baby Spartas are so cute. These like dinosaur ostrich things, and they're really adorable and not seen anywhere else in the series.
No way.
No.
My turn.
So now I need to figure out what the heck is going on in this town. Why is the river poisoned? Why does everyone in this town think that I'm responsible? Also, did the camera angle freak out? What is going on with this camera? This is not supposed to happen.
At all.
That was weird.
Yes. Hold on.
I don't know what just happened. I think really strange things happen this run. I don't suppose they patched this game. Because the glitches still work.
My turn.
This camera angle... Okay, that's what the camera angle is supposed to be like. Alright, so now that I have a fourth party member, I can once again kind of use the clip into the floor while being in water. I just need to switch a character out rather than kill them, because all that matters is that I respawn a character. And now he's respawned and he's under the floor. And so, the entrance to the fourth dungeon of the game happens to be behind this rock, and I'm not supposed to figure out, like, to go here until much later in the run. But because I can get out of bounds pretty easily, I can get in here pretty much any time that I want. Fortunately, I don't have a means to dive underwater, so I need to actually go out of bounds to get past this, otherwise I would be soft-locked. Yes, this is the best track in the game, except it's actually my second favorite song in the game.
Leave it to me.
Remember when I said I'm a sucker for violin? Also, hey Tetsuo. How you doing?
My turn.
So this is the intended use of the Dwarf Bracelet. Well, it does shrink me and make my defense really low. It also lets me go into little crawl spaces. It's kind of easy to say that. This is some just really old SNES era. Like, a lot of the songs in this game are SNES era, so... probably just some, like, musical similarities. Alright, so I need to get a new skill on here. There we go. Toby Fox got a lot of influence from music of like the SNES era. Okay, gonna...
Let's go.
Oh wow. I don't usually get hit by this guy. This is Robo Centaur, asshole. As you can surmise by my description of this boss fight, he's a Robo Centaur and he's an asshole. So he's going to initiate his final phase, so I actually wanted to... I wanted to bring him down low. I can't use a finisher right then and there. Or EX skill in this game calls it. This is the part where it really pays to have a ranged character. Oh god, that's bad. So this is something I can deal with on this difficulty. But it's not good to lose at all there. It's fine, we're fine. So, one thing I haven't really touched on in this game is if you break the sequence of events, essentially the cutscenes in this game were designed to happen in order. So if you get to an area that is further in the story than like the next cutscene that's supposed to happen, all cutscenes and all cutscene triggers up until basically until the end of the game do not happen until I do something to essentially set the sequence back in track, which thankfully there's a pretty easy means to do that, so I don't soft lock myself. But it's really nice when I get to this area, because in this particular town, a very lengthy story sequence happens. Since all previous story sequences have not happened, I don't have to worry about any of that, and I can just skip through this entire town, saving several minutes just by having skipped stuff earlier in the run. Coming up, we're going to get our next party member. She's a lot of fun. Back in the days of the Vita route where we had a lot more game to play, I used her as my main character, even if it was slightly inefficient, just because she had a really consistent strat to work with this game's combat.
Oh, no.
Alright, so now we need to dodge lightning bolts. I actually don't know the lightning bolt dodging timing, so I'm not going to bother with it. It would save like 40 seconds off the one, but it's super difficult. Alright, now we get a new party member. Those lightning bolts are actually scripted to happen exactly once every 2.1 seconds. So if you know when to time it, you can actually open the menu, and the lightning bolt will strike while you're opening the menu. So you can just avoid all the lightning strikes in this area. Now that being said, this strat still uses manipulation to skip ahead.
Leave it to me. Leave it to me.
And I've just skipped lighting about 4 lightning rods just by doing this alone.
Leave it to me.
And this is sort of our way to get up to the tower without getting struck by lightning. And once I get close enough, I don't have to worry anymore. Pink-haired girl moves the slowest, by the way, so you're not going to be seeing me use her for any form of movement in this game, only combat. And necessary quad actions. Speaking of buff tunes, this song is a jam.
Beat this thing.
So by opening the menu there and loading up a cutscene viewer, I despawn the enemies, and so they spawn as if I just entered the room. And there's a few frames in which I can actually hit that switch with them around me, otherwise I would not be able to. I'd have to kill them.
My turn. My turn.
Okay, that was pretty fortunate. Those guys like disappear and they'll reappear at a pretty random spot.
My turn.
Hey, Captain, how's the spy days going? Also, I need to ask you, would you send me some of your notes for that run? I plan to review commentary with Stoltheim for Limit Break, but I do need to make sure that I'm kind of brushed up on how that run works. Because I offered to couch commentate for him, not necessarily to be like that in-depth, but just to kind of offer a second voice. So it's risky to go for that. I used to just get through it with a bunch of saves coming. But in doing it that way, I actually save a considerable amount of time. Oh wait, I'm supposed to split there. Nice. Save 20 more seconds. If this somehow manages to be a 53, I'm gonna be shocked. This is kind of just the low-stress D-Rust run. So here I'm actually going to take a death. This is on purpose. Instead of going to this game's usual, instead of going to this game's usual, would you like to try again screen, it actually treats it as if I was struck by lightning. This is really important because since I exited a boss fight, the next screen that I'm on that has a boss encounter will automatically start that boss encounter. Alright, so I'm gonna put Gravity Sphere on you, Power Swing. Pull them all in. Just hit him with the finisher and work hard him with a shit ton of status effects. Just destroy them. If you don't know what's happening, trust me. Oh, that was so clean. So, I hit him with some really potent status effects there, and they just could not do anything, and I just used area of effect skills to kill them. And so what this did was that fight's not supposed to happen until after I clear the tower dungeon, but since I basically forced it to happen, the game thinks that I've beaten the tower, which means that now I'm in a later story state. I'm gonna go back to the tower to fight this boss, but only because the thing he gives me saves so much time that it's worth doing.
Here we go!
God, these fights are so clean. How is this happening? Alright. So here's where we start running really stinking fast. OBS with the secret tech. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of obscene. Like, I think OBS is just taking up less RAM, or like less memory. I mean, as my good pal Bob the Ninja Goldfish described this game, it's like, I'm getting some insane Sonic Heroes vibes from this game. Because the main three for a good chunk of the run is blue, yellow, and red, and then we get pink. And then we run at this insane speed. It's kind of comical, and we do a lot of rolling. So that's where Adol lost his memory. I have not explained any of the story of this run, besides like early portion stuff. Basically, we're looking for a dark, powerful item to prevent the bad guys from getting it. That's all you really need to know about the story. Spoiler warning, they're gonna get it and almost blow up the world. Nah, nothing that extreme. Takes just a little bit less time to make that detour there than to run there later, so that in essence is just a very minor shortcut. The thing I really like about RPG runs is just how much stuff you do now matters later. Also, we're getting our last party member right now, and she is my favorite in the game. Not because of the cleavage window, but because of the fact that she has my favorite weapon in the game, which is a halberd. I don't know what it is about me and like really long weapons like Naginata and halberds. They're usually my favorite in video games. So we're gonna set Hurricane Spin and then Demonic Edge.
Now's our chance.
Buff ourselves. This should do a metric ton of damage. Should push me away. OBS, the secret tech, dude. I don't even know how this is happening.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Leave everything to me. Now.
Now that we have our last character, we can proceed.
Let's go.
For perspective on why I'm running with Karna here, the orange-haired girl, she has about a 10% faster speed than Adol, and 5% faster than the second fastest character in the game. So it ends up being worth it to just have her around for pretty much the entire run.
Now.
Thanks to Zelnu for showing me that you can actually just not bother fighting that worm there. OBS cheats.
Leave it to me.
So glad that some people are deciding to run this game because it's basically been a two-man show with me and a Japanese runner for a very long time. And he doesn't speak English, so I have to communicate in very broken Japanese to try and really get anything out of him. And at times I just basically say, okay, if you know how to do this, please send me a video. Which I'm cool to deal with. But because it's just been two of us and we don't have a particularly great means of communication, there's a lot of tech that I feel like we could probably end up finding just if we had more people working on this game. And since a couple of people have picked this game up, I've been able to find some minor optimizations, some things that I hadn't, you know, either thought of or been able to pull off. I still need to redo my tutorial for this run. So I can't actually sprint here until I get past this frog here. So now I need to use the one puzzle in the game that I have to use the mouse for. Doing this left-handed. left-handed, which is really awkward because I am not left-handed with the mouse. We actually got really favorable luck just there because one of my allies learned a new skill, which means like going into this next fight with a full SP meter there.
Try this. I'll turn you to ice.
Get your OS frogs ready for this game time.
Smash to pieces.
This fight's really stupid because this boss can be perpetually stunned by your hurricane spin skill. That was a little weird. If I don't screw it up, yes. I don't really think of it in terms of world. I don't really think of it in terms of world records. I'm the only one who's really run this game particularly actively until recently. And the runner in second place, you know, he has a time that's fairly close, but it's really just him. Everyone else has kind of run it a few times. I listed on my channel as world record, but that's really just because, I don't know, there feels like some sense of accomplishment to it. Like, if I've beaten somebody else at it, like I put more work into it than somebody else. Or I'm better, but usually I think of it as just I put more work. Oh, this game's fun as hell.
Alright, now's our chance.
So I have to kind of dance around this guy's attacks to get multiple flash guards. Just chunk him down. Alright, we're actually in a really good position here. This should kill him before he goes into a stampede mode. There we go. And I'm only running on easy. I don't normally run on easy that often, but I figured it'd be a good test for some new stream settings. And so far, we're actually in a pretty good place. Now I just need to not get my shit stomped in by Sol Galba 2, and it should be good. Like, this should be a 53. Alright, so we're going to do a sequence break that skips a lot of story backlog and multiple dungeons. Come on, come on. Yes, we made it. So, to really clarify what I just did there, this game has no jump button, but it does have the ability to repeatedly flash guard a attack. And the consequence of that is every flash guard, you get hit with the same amount of vertical momentum that the game would knock you upwards, essentially. Also, the movement here is really fun, by the way. The Gale shoes control really well. And so we just store the vertical momentum with a shit ton of flash guards. and it allows me to shoot over the door, and it only has collision up to a certain point, so we just shoot over it and hit the loading zone behind the door. I did not find that out. My good friend Rabiton found it out. He's a Japanese runner who noticed that when they changed this game's flashguard mechanics on this version, that attacks that knock you upward can be stacked, and he tested as many places as he could until he found some absolutely massive sequence breaks. Like, I owe probably 90% of this route to Robbie. Okay, this is bad luck. I'm gonna have to reload the room. Just gonna cost me about 10 seconds. The first major sequence break in this game happened completely by accident. I found it out in a run where I ended up clipping through the floor by mistake, just kind of screwing with my party members. And then everything since then has been just trial and error.
Leave everything to me.
So switching to Frida here actually saves me about a second and a half of movement in this tunnel, because she has the fastest roll of my party members.
Let's go.
A lot of movement optimization just come down to the fact that this game has really responsive menus. And every character has their own different speed. Laser beam. So we're gonna go visit our old friend, the Bee, because we need to initiate a boss fight, and we just so happen to leave this guy here. Tried to offer it, they haven't accepted it yet. I've run another East game at DDQ before. I don't think that was high enough.
Leave everything to me.
Dang, I'm losing time here. It really doesn't matter what end I go for. Alright, this is the hardest fight of the run by far.
Try this.
Oh god. Come on, get the foot, please. So this should be an easy 2 cycles. But if his fireball attack connects on me, I could just die. Alright. I really want that dodge guard there. Okay, we're good. I really did not lose that much time. This could be 53. OBS, the secret speed tech. Holy smokes.
Honestly.
So we're gonna need to visit our bee friend one more time. So now if you're wondering why I just did that, there's a little trick to the final dungeon, which is there's a forced encounter that is under the same flags as boss fights in the very first screen of the final dungeon. It's not supposed to happen until after you beat the dungeon. So, that fight right there, it's not supposed to happen until after I beat the final dungeon, so I just skipped the final dungeon. And we're just gonna go on this one long escape sequence here, and we're gonna throw the big powerful artifact that magically appeared in our inventory because we skipped the boss fight that we were supposed to get it from. We're just gonna go check it in a volcano. And fight the Phantom of the final boss. Which is also one of the freest fights in the game. In essence, that previous fight that I just did was the final boss. Alright, the final fight, let's go.
Try this! No escape!
Also, this girl's here. She was supposed to be in a previous dungeon as an escort mission, but because we skipped the necessary plot triggers, she happens here instead. That's really the only explanation I can give for it.
Your memories. I'll take your future as well! Time to finish this! Try this! No escape!
Okay, final fight done. Okay. Well, this is a gigantic world record. What the shit? What the shit, dude? Is that supposed to happen?